Let's talk about love and marriage, the way that God intended. A life experience, here we share it. The No Fruit Podcast. Tune in from any platform. No Fruit Podcast. Will help your spirit transform.
We thank you for tuning in to the No Fruit Podcast. We have another power couple with us today. And so I'm going to just give you an idea about who they are. So the gentleman that we're going to talk to at the age of 55, he stepped on his scale and it read 304 pounds. Literally, panic set in. It was the day after his 31st wedding anniversary, and three thoughts ran through his mind. First, he could not recall ever meeting a 65-year-old man that was more than 100 pounds overweight. His experience as a life insurance professional told him that he had less than 10 years to live. Second, he would likely be known as his wife Angie's first husband, since he would probably be dead in less than 10 years. Third, that all the dreams he had hoped to accomplish in the future would be cut short by his obesity. In that state of panic, while still standing on the scale, he reached for his cell phone and snapped a picture, because at that moment he made the decision to never see those numbers on the scale that stood again. So I thank y'all very much for tuning in today. We're going to talk to Alan and Angie, and they're going to talk to us about their weight loss journey. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us. We're glad to be here.
Sure, no problem. So we're going to kick it off this way. You talk about your weight loss and being on the scale, but we're going to dig all the way into the weeds right from the get-go. A lot of times we have this weight because we're unsure of ourselves. We lack confidence or whatever it is, but I know for myself, I like to eat a whole bag of popcorn while I'm watching a movie, right? I just want to relax. So how would you encourage someone to better themselves or to gain confidence? Because a lot of times we use food as comfort for those moments of lack. So how would you encourage someone to?
That's a great question. And really, I would encourage people first ask themselves this, because we spend so much time kicking ourselves in our own posterior that we miss, miss the point of it anyway. And the weight loss industry has really abdicated, has caused so many people to just believe that it's not possible to do it without their own knowledge. So the thing that I would say is everybody listening to this already knows what to do. Okay. And I've proven this over and over again, but it's interesting. So, but imagine that Jesus were to walk into your home today, and after you passed out and woke up, because it was Jesus walking into your home, you realize that he had somebody else with him. And who he had with him, he says, "Hey, Marcus, I want to introduce to you the version of yourself I created you to be at your present age." Okay. And so at that point, what does that version weigh? And I'm not asking you to say this, Marcus, but whatever that is. And it's interesting. We've seen this get to the merit. So many people come to us and it's, for example, I'm thinking of one recently that one of our clients who was 202 pounds at 5'2", and she told us she wanted to be 150. And I have no problem with 150 because Christ loves us at 100 pounds or 500 pounds. He doesn't look at us the way men and women look at us, but he did create us for something better. He created us for that John 10:10 life, the extraordinary life, the abundant life. And so, but it was interesting. She said, "I want to be 150." And I asked her that question. She said, "Oh, I'd be 135. Now, and this is how we think. We settle. First of all, we settle. Okay. And I'm getting to the answer of your question, but I want you to understand this is the first step. You've got to get something that excites you. And it's so funny. She told us, she said, "Oh, I'd be 135 for that, but I want to get to 150 first." I said, "That's not how we do it. You pick where you want to go to begin with. If I'm going to Philadelphia from South Florida, where we are right now, I mean, I don't say that I want to go to Virginia to get to Philadelphia. I say I want to go to Philly.
Right.
Let's go to Philly. Let's see the Phillies play, or the Pirates, or whoever's, or even the Steelers play. If you go over to Pittsburgh. So, but at any rate, and I've got Pirates and Philadelphia and Pittsburgh mixed there.
That's all right.
Sorry about that. But anyway, so once you get that truth out, then it gets a little closer, a little simpler. Then the next question, that we had another client recently. They were at a similar weight, and they said, I always I don't know what to do. All I eat is salad and boiled eggs. Okay. And I say, okay, well, I can appreciate that. Now we have a process that we never tell our clients exactly what to eat, but we show them exactly how to figure it out because they already know. And it was interesting. This individual that I asked that question of, she said, well, I just don't know what to do. And I said, well, let me ask you this. Who do you love most in the world? And she told us one of them was her dog, which she's this lady is actually a champion breeder and then some other close friends that she loves like family. And I said, what if they were taken hostage and the only way you could get them back, the only way you get them back alive is to release. We prefer to release weight rather than lose it because we look for things we lose. And so it is to release 1 pound a week until you reach your ideal weight. Forget about what you're eating right now. Forget about the boiled eggs and the salad. Okay. And my question is, what would you do differently in the last 30 days? And oh, by the way, you can't ask a doctor. You can't ask a dietitian. You can't ask a nutritionist, a physical fitness expert. You can't even consult Google or YouTube, or the ones you love are going to die. Their life's on the line. But you got to release 1 pound a week or lose 1 pound a week is what culture says. 1 pound a week. What would you do differently than what you've done in the last 30 days to save their life if that had been the case, if their lives have been on the line for the last 30 days, not yours? And she, oh, that's easy. I'd stop eating all the ice cream and cookies. Okay, now too many, and this individual, a very honest person. They were not lying to me; they were lying to themselves. Okay, now they only make one serving of popcorn. It's the bag. They only make one serving of Doritos. It's in the small family size, what I would prefer. And so, but all of that is it doesn't begin with what to eat. It begins with why you're doing it. See, when I gave her a reason why it was important. Then all of a sudden it got really clear what to do. Now now same person. I'm gonna use this person because it's just a funny story. It's a recent client. Same person. 5 days later, we get an email. I'm stuck. I always get stuck at this weight. It's 5 pounds down. She lost it was 197. She always gets stuck. And so I said, hey, jump on a quick Zoom. We'll figure this out quickly. I've never told her what to eat. Watch it. You see, I've never told her what to eat yet. She's already dropping weight. We give her some strategies and techniques to figure these things out. But I want her to take ownership of it, not me. If I take ownership of it, the minute she gets to her ideal weight, she's going to go running for the cheeseburger and ice cream stand. I mean, that's what we all do.
Right.
And so she said she was 197. I said, and all I did was ask her. I said, how long in the past has it taken you to give up and go back to the cookies and the ice cream? She said, usually a day. I said, would you give me 30? I said, would you give me 30? Just 30 days. And this is the piece. We gain 5 pounds a year, 6 pounds a year, and we want to lose 100 pounds in a day. That's what we all really want.
Right.
Actually, we wanted it yesterday. I mean, because we want to go to the land of eat as much as you want, whenever you want, whatever you want. And so at any rate, but what was so fascinating about it, just the very next day, she broke through that barrier. She had victory, and the weights continued to fall off. And this has been 5 weeks ago. She's what she.
Of course, she had another barrier, but she said, "Oh, well, I'm going to have that one." I'm like, "No, you're not." Yeah, right. And she did not.
It's how we have to rethink this process. That's how we came up with the concept of rethinking. We already know what to do. Do you have to eat less than you did when you gained it? Absolutely. Does it mean you're never going to have a bag of popcorn again? No. Jesus said all the food was good. Look it up. He just didn't say eat all of it this afternoon. Okay. And so, but here's the piece that we have to really grasp, and especially for young people that are listening to us. In the audience, I know you have a lot of younger people in the audience, is we've made obesity okay. And again, God loves you at 500 pounds, 400 pounds, 300 pounds. It doesn't matter. God loved me at 304. Okay, my wife even tolerated 304. Guess what? She loved me when the weight came off too. Go figure. And so, but here's the problem: is that because He says use self-control in our life. It's for example, y'all. How long have y'all been married? I'm going to take a risk here. How long have y'all been married?
You want to take a guess?
No.
25 years. 25 years.
Yeah, we married 25.
Okay, so we celebrated our 44th anniversary of our first date.
Congrats.
We married 38 years. So at any rate, you got to catch us. but when y'all got married, did Kay say, "Hey, Marcus, I don't mind you dating around"?
No, not at
No,
all.
you didn't say that. Now, some people do that nowadays, so we got to be careful with this. But and Marcus, I imagine you didn't think it was okay if Kay dated around, did you?
Not at all.
Okay, because you knew
playing those games.
You knew not only was it going to cause you all kind of problems in the world, but you knew that God had something better for you waiting on you. Guess what He has waiting on for those that struggle with obesity? You use self-control, because he didn't get rid of all the pretty ladies in the world and all the good-looking men in the world when y'all got married. Okay, and all the ones who had talked good and all those things. Although we got rid of all the pretty women around me except for Angie. So see how I did that. But the point I made with this is we miss that there is an extraordinary life waiting on us. The kingdom is calling you. The 25-year-old man and 25-year-old, your testimony, your walking testimony when you take the weight off. You're walking, you can't argue with documentation beats conversation. You can talk the talk all day long, all day night, but if you're wearing obesity, if that's what you're wearing, you're screaming that I don't have self-control, and I get it, and that's okay. Doesn't mean that's a place to start. I was screaming that. But it was so interesting when the weight came off, I was screaming that something people wanted to hear, and it gave people hope. It's like Rick, who was a client of ours for 3 years. Rick came to us at age 70 he was 388 pounds. He was what we call a unicorn. He was dead man walking, heart attack survivor, type 2 diabetes. Walked with a walker because fused vertebrae, exercise off the table. And when I said to him, Rick, I'm positive we can get you to your ideal weight if you'll do the work. And I'm not talking about jumping jacks. I'm not talking about doing it. I said, but I'm never going to tell you what to eat. I'm never going to tell you what exercise to do, but I know I can get you there. He told me later that he thought I was a lunatic. And, but for some reason he said yes. Now, what's interesting is the other day, Rick weighed in at 206 pounds and is still going. But the point of that whole journey is, other people have gotten inspired because they say, "Oh my gosh, if Rick could do it, I what's my excuse?" And all of a sudden, his testimony is even greater than it was before. He's working. People are coming to him because they see a guy that's walking the walk. And listen, we want people to be healthy.
Yes,
we want people to have great blood pressure, not have heart attacks, all those things. That's not going to move the needle. What we want people to come alive in their life, to where they walk into a room and the man or woman speaks up and that people listen to them. They listen and they're not shy, because when, for example, if all of a sudden you had, I think of somebody who's gone through, and I've never used this metaphor, somebody's going through the horrible cancer. Sometimes they're self-conscious because they have no hair, which they can't, no fault of their own in that situation. You walk into a room, and when I walked into a room at 300 pounds, I held back. I didn't say the things on my mind. Pastor Scott, who came to us, dropped 90 pounds in 8 months, and we helped him predict his weight loss within 7 days of the time it took him to lose it. Never told him what to eat, not once. All of a sudden, his church came alive. All of a sudden, his daughters were looking at him differently, and they were running for student office. They were doing all these things because their dad's stepping into the version of himself he was created to be. And all of a sudden, the world opens up, because it's like Christ is sitting there saying, Alan, Angie, Marcus, Kay, everybody listening, if you'll do these simple things, I'm going to open up those floodgates, and you're not going to be able to have room to pack all the blessing I've got coming in your life. So that's why we do this. That's why we do it.
And I get that, right? I mean, so one thing that I'm going to backtrack for a second. You have mentioned about Jesus, right? And, where was his first miracle? At a party, right? His first thing,
and drink some wine. That's right. Let's do some. And he didn't use grape juice. He was using wine. Because I believe it as it's written, it was wine.
Listen.
And good wine.
And so for me, why not indulge? It's blessed, right?
Sure.
But now I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. So you mentioned about people wanting to walk into a room, right, and probably command the room, feel better about being in that space. But Alan, I'm an introvert anyway, by nature, right? I don't like people enough. I don't want no attention. I just want to walk into this seminar real quick and have a seat. I don't want anyone paying attention to me. So why would I even care about my weight if that's who I am naturally?
Well, here's what I would say. If somebody is not bothered by their weight, they're likely at their ideal weight already. They're likely at already. If somebody, I would never suggest that somebody release or lose weight if it wasn't what they if they didn't believe they were at their ideal weight. If they're happy with it, not coping happy. I'm talking about happy like that, not like somebody who is thinking about it all night and put on a smile, and we run this all the time, put on a smile during the day and coping at night and thinking, oh my God, how can I get this off? But if there's somebody who truly is happy, we've never once told people what they should weigh, and never will, because they already know. They already know. And sometimes it's a bigger weight. It's like one of our clients now who, think of Tracy. I mean, Tracy, some people, she will still be listed in the obesity category when she reaches her ideal weight, but she's down 70 pounds from 370. There's 367. She dropped under two, but that's who she knows she's created to be. Now she may decide she wants to be a long distance marathon runner after she gets to her ideal weight, and she decides she wants to drop more, or she may say, well, I'm going to be the first woman athlete or whatever, and wants to build up more muscle. So she will know her ideal weight. It's not a secret. There's nobody, I have never ran into one man or woman that has not known what they should weigh. And I'm not talking about a chart on a wall. That's what I'm talking about, in your heart, what you know. So first I would say that if they're happy, do you, boo? I'm saying that's awesome. Awesome. But if they're not, if they're helped, because the question that got me was a pastor by the name of Yo Kim. I'd never met him face to face. In 30 minutes of talking, he was actually doing some business coaching with me. He was a part-time business coach and part-time Korean pastor, is Yo Kim, HYO. And he said, "What's holding you back?" And I said, "My weight." And he couldn't see me. He said, "How much do you weigh?" And I said, "Well, I weighed 304 the other day. I'm down to 299, but I never stick to it. And the rest is history." And that was actually the tipping point for us. But the point I make is, I knew it was holding me back. So for individuals who it's not stopping, keep on going. I don't say, I think you don't need a chart on the wall to tell you what you should weigh. You know, you don't need a chart. I mean, and everybody's going to be different. We're all created differently. But just like that, you mentioned that party that Jesus was at. Okay, Paul later on said, and I agree totally. I mean, I'm like, when I get to heaven, we doing some serious wine, because I won't be drunk, and it won't cause me to be an alcoholic. Right. Had this struggle. But I promise you, it's real wine. It is not grape juice, contrary to what. And then we can have another conversation about that. But Paul said everything is permissible, but not everything is beneficial. Okay, so if you eat beyond full, which is gluttony, you're not going to hell for it. You know, but if you do it every day, that's going to be a problem. I mean, that's what I was doing every day, because I was eating my emotions. Angie was eating her emotions. She had a husband that wasn't stepping into the version of he was created to be, so it was impacting her. We see this a lot in couples. Yeah. I mean, we see it where one will impact the other. And if you want to change your spouse, change yourself. That's the thing that we all want to do. And I had no idea Angie was going to drop 63 pounds in 190 days. She's like, no, I'm not, you're not going without me. And just like as I went up, she didn't have 100 pounds to lose like I did, more than 100, but she had it, but it made it okay, because we start doing comparison. Well, I'm not as fat as Alan. I don't have as much problem as he does. Now, he's not had a heart attack, stroke, or cancer yet from obesity. He doesn't. Now, he's got sleep apnea. The side effect of that is stopping breathing, which is dying. But other than that, he's doing okay. And these are stories we told ourselves. But when I knew that somebody else was going to call her her husband, because she's not, just like you and me, both married up, clearly. And so she might say she's never getting remarried, but I guarantee you that she's going to have enough people knocking on her door, and when I'm rich, a whole lot richer than I ever was, and a whole lot prettier than I've ever been, have more hair and everything. And then when somebody walks through the door and takes my daughter down the aisle, takes or somebody's called, my sons don't have me to call, they're calling this other individual. shame on me
Mm-hmm.
for stealing that from my family. It's the impact that we're going to have on others.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what we talk about a lot. I mean, it's not about shaming. You want to get rid of the shame, put a light in the dark room, man. That'll get rid of it. That's what we do. That's what we do. You can't overcome it. But at the end of the day, this whole industry of $92 billion a year
right.
comes in and takes all the responsibility away from the individual, says, we're going to fix it for you so you don't have to worry.
Mm-hmm.
I say, bull. That's like somebody coming in and saying they're going to make your marriage perfect without you doing anything. It's like when Angie and I got married, I figured I'd scored. I'd won.
Mm-hmm.
I won. I didn't know she still wanted a date. Are you kidding me? I don't need a date. She needed a date night and stuff like that and those kind of things. So at any rate, when we see this, think about it. It's common sense. It's a lot like money. I mean, Dave Ramsey, who I don't know personally, but I know a lot of people who were around him for years. And I mean, he said, make more, spend less, and you'll be rich.
Right.
Guess what, guys? Eat less, move more, you'll be fit.
Right.
I'm not the first to say that. And now, but that's the 2%. The 98% is the rethinking and all the mindset pieces around it, so that you don't convince yourself that you're going to the land of eat as much as you want, whenever you want, whatever you want. That place don't exist on this earth.
Wow. So Alan, you gave us a lot to think about. I'm gonna be honest with you, and we appreciate y'all coming on the show. Please let us know where we can talk to you, find your website, all these type of things, because a lot of us are looking for these tips or tricks or whatever it is, or maybe just someone to encourage us to take that next step, to get out of the land of excuses or comfort or whatever it is.
Right.
So
to help us change our mindset.
Yeah, well, it is, and that's why we call it rethinking. I mean, that is it. But if they go to transformmyfuture.com, we've got a special link just for your audience. Transformmyfuture.com/no-fruit.
Okay.
Transformmyfuture.com/no-fruit. And they'll have access to a free training that Angie and I did. It's the 5-step strategy Angie and I used to lose 192 pounds in 260 days together. That's together, our weight loss together, and how we teach and what we teach our clients. And also, Marcus, I mean, we're happy to get on the phone. We do something called a breakthrough call. One of our team, we have team members that help us as well, but they can go to transformmyfuture.com/apply, APPLY. They can go there, and what we do on that call, listen, we get clear on their problem with weight. It's not a call about picking out your diet. That's if they're calling for that, Google it. They can figure that one out. Okay. It's a call about getting really clear about your problem with weight, what it's costing you, what it's really, how bad has it gotten? Second thing is about where you're going, what's the possibilities would be if you reached your ideal weight, when you reach their ideal weight, and then if we can help you. And, if we are, then we figure that out with people. That we have a lot of different options with them. But at the end of the day, this is about changing. I want you to imagine if the trajectory of obesity is going up by 92,000 people every day. That's how many people become obese worldwide. What if the people of God, the men and women of God, were to turn that? It's only 92,000 people a day to go just overweight. I'm not asking you to even get to that, just to do that. What would it look like when we walk into our houses of worship? What would it look like? What would it look like when we go into our businesses and people what would that change? Right. And so that's the mission we're on. We want to see the trajectory change, and because we're positive it won't be us that caused it. We're positive to be the creator, because let's get serious. Who's gonna believe you did it without a diet or exercise plan and you did that? But that's what's happening.
Nice.
And we're seeing it happen, and it's changed. It's not changed a bite at a time. It's changed a mind at a time.
Wow, we appreciate that. Again, we thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
But we do have one more question for the both of you, though. And Kava, would you like to ask that question?
Certainly. So the both of you, Angie and Alan, this question is for both of you, and the question is, if you could sing a duet, not with each other, but with another person, living or deceased, who would you sing that duet with?
Duet.
Yeah.
Living or deceased. You do yours first. You do yours first. Go ahead.
You're putting her on the spot.
Go ahead. No, she's trying to get me to tell her. You say who you want, sweetie. Say.
John Resnick.
He's living. Yeah,
he's living.
I would do John Denver. He's not alive now.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I would do John Denver. I had to think about that for about 2 seconds, and I knew the answer. So that's a great question. That's our first one being asked this.
That's fun.
You know, and we want to end off the show, you know, because some of the things that you talked about can be perceived as heavy for some individuals, right?
Sure.
And also with this, we want to make sure that, hey, you know, people know who you are, and it's a truly off the wall question to end, you know, and it gives everyone to see a different side of your personality, how you view life, even, you know, just with this question. So it's just a fun way of just ending it. That's all.
Oh, it's perfect. I love it. I love it. She was whispering, Johnny Cash, John. But I knew that one. I knew that one. She's a Goo Goo Dolls fan. She's a groupie.
Oh, okay. No problem.
Well, it's been great hanging out with you. And again, thank you so much. Thank you so much to all the No Fruit listeners. We hope that you all have a great day.
And we will talk to y'all a little later.
This week's episode has come to an end, but the fun doesn't have to stop here. If you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, head over right now to Twitter and Facebook and like, share, and get involved. Join us next time.